Aye. Okay. Okay, welcome to Tuesday afternoon. Kelly, you want me to just turn it over to you? Is this a no questions thing?
No questions allowed.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Kelly Grayson, the clerk of the board, and we're here to talk about the commissioner's office, also the Board of Equalization, and a little update on public records requests. So this is a presentation that we have given to part of the staff in a staff meeting that we had last week about the changes that we had discussed with the commissioner meetings. So going over kind of the changes of the times and the dates of the meetings that we had decided, which we did get the public calendar out. So that is available for the public to see when our meetings are. Changes to the meeting structure. We have added the department update. So we'll go over that. Liaison reports, a new communication tool, and personnel change requests. So these are kind of the things that came out of the staff meeting and discussions that we've been having. And we kind of added in this open public meeting mission, which I need my glasses to see this. So after talking with you guys, this is what we came up with is promote transparency, encourage public engagement, keep the community informed, and guide fair, accountable decisions that align with the community needs. So going over with you guys, we already have started our meetings. So this is just putting those into the dates and stuff. The only thing that I added on here is that the Mondays at 1:30, talking with the finance director, he's wanting to start those in April. So those will be something new. Because usually we start them in September and October, but since we're having to get on the budget stuff, we have decided to start it early. Also with the department update on Tuesdays at 1:30. So they'll be coming each quarter. So you'll see them 4 times a year, each department. The first one will be the budget management review. And then the second will be the department update. So they have 2 different goals there. One is going over the budget management like they have before, which we are probably going to do some changes. And then the other one's specific to their department. So I kind of put this together about our budget management reviews and how it, at this time, it gives a quick snapshot, but we kind of want to get some more information that's beneficial for you guys to review. So we're working with the finance department, and we'll start getting other departments involved on changing the dashboard a little bit. Might be a lot. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do, but we got some great ideas. So been talking with Sean, and I think we're going to come up with some good stuff for you guys to be able to review. Those are going to be the 9 o'clock Monday mornings, and you should be seeing each and every department coming through those. Do you have any questions?
The changes that we're making are geared towards us having more in-depth pointed conversations about specific issues within the budget, correct?
We would like to provide a dashboard where if you do have questions, you'll be able to see and interact with that. I don't know exactly how in-depth it's going to be able to do with what data we have, but we're looking at options to be able to have you guys be able to have more conversations instead of just numbers, and what those numbers look like and how it's affecting the budget. The department update meeting, this is new, so you'll see a lot of the departments coming and not knowing exactly sure what they want to present. We did talk at the staff meeting about what we'd like to see, and I think a couple of our departments did a great job. Susan did an excellent job going over the list there of stuff that's going on in her department and how it affects the public and the budget and all kinds of stuff. So the goal is to get departments in front of you and having those conversations, finding barriers that they have and how you guys can help them with those barriers. And then if they need any type of decision-making, this will be a point of contact with you guys that they can be able to get some decision-making or which way you want them to be moving towards. These are going to be the Tuesdays at 1:30, so that's what we're doing here. And I think if you guys have any suggestions on making things different, having it more standardized or whatever you want, but it's new in process, so hopefully you'll give patience to everybody that's coming because this is new to them. The next thing we're talking about is executive sessions. That's something that is a tool that we have, and it's pretty specific. So just giving people an overview of what is compliant as an executive session and what needs to be discussed in open public meetings and kind of where to go for figuring that out and how to handle the information. And I think we already do a really good job with our executive sessions. But it's always good to have the reminder that if you do have the hard conversation you need to have with you guys, that there is that option there. And you all already know about the liaison reports. We went through all of the departments, put them in underneath you guys, started a calendar with having monthly meetings with them. And I'm hoping that you can use those meetings to help them bring stuff to their department updates meetings on 1:30 on Tuesdays. And so then they will have more guidance about what you guys would like to hear as a department update. There's lots of things that they can use that meeting for. And I hope it's going to be a good communication tool.
I just had my first one yesterday and had a good conversation with them, and they're now moving towards meeting with Jessica and scheduling an executive session to go over what they brought to me. So it's already working positively.
Yeah, and if you guys need more time, I've just at this moment just done little 30 minutes with each department, but if you need an hour or whatever, we can try to move your calendar to reflect that. We also had talked a lot at the staff meeting about communication with the commissioners. There's a lot of times where things are brought and need a decision and it's kind of like gray area. Not so sure that they got an answer. There's other things that I think we could use this tool for. It's called an SBAR. It's what I'm used to using. There's a lot of tools like this that are very similar and they're named other things, but it is a tool for them to be able to give you the background of what the situation is, how they assessed it, and what the recommendations, and bring it to you in a standardized format. And then you'll know exactly what they're asking for, and you'll be able to reflect back to that information because you'll actually have a form in front of you that you will be able to keep. There was a suggestion to also use that for public requests. So we're going to try to put that tool out for them too. And hopefully, I think Health and Human Services is going to try to use it on their next workshop. And I did create a fillable form, so that's available for the staff. And I'm looking into creating an electronic version, so we'll have a database when they put that in. So we'll have something to reflect back to. I know we had talked about this quite a bit, personnel requests and how that's going to be formalized through a form, and it's been being worked on through finance and also through HR. So they're still working on the details and how it's going to look, but this would be outside of the budget personnel requests. This would be all the unique requests that you guys see typically having a change that is not normal and in their budget. So hopefully you will be seeing this soon. I'm not sure of the date, and it doesn't look like we have it, but we're gonna keep working on getting that process going.
I like that we're doing this and the SBAR, because I know Chairman Dahl in a meeting brought up trying to remember why we made the decision that we made, because we needed context, and this is what's gonna, I think this is really gonna help us with that moving forward.
And just a quick update on risk management. There is a couple of tasks that are hopefully going to be able to take on. This is all new, so we have started the process with the industrial claims financial tracker. And we're going to be taking on the tort claim data entry. We already start the process with the tort claims. So at this point, we're going to be putting it into their electronic system. So it's just one extra step. I don't think it'll be a lot. There's also lost and found. Had no idea there's this huge process with lost and found. I guess we get some crazy things that are sent over in law. So we're going to be helping risk management with that. And then we're still looking into possibly helping her with the CPR training scheduling. We put on I think quarterly, a CPR training that is in person. We also have it online, but this is for new people who haven't taken the class before, and you really need to have that dummy there. So yeah, and she needs help. It's not a lot, but it does, it's a time sucker. So we're going to try to help take some of those time suckers off of her plate. That's all I have for the commissioner's office. Do you guys have any questions? We're going to move on to the Board of Equalization.
Hi, Purvi Reed, Administrative Assistant. I'm just here to give you an update about the 2025 appeals. Our target condition is to ensure all appeals are submitted correctly. Some petitioners struggle to understand the proper appeal process, which results in petitions being deemed non-compliant. We do give them a lot of resources, and I do try to help them as much as I can, but I think sometimes it just gets a little bit overwhelming. So this year we received petitions increased by 48%. Last year we received about 67, and then this year we received 140. But even with the higher volume, most petitions were compliant, which is good, and citizens are actually coming back to me and submitting their corrections and additional documents, which would make them be compliant. With that, we met our goal in 2025, which was 8%, and our goal is less than 10%. Petitions are consistently being stipulated or withdrawn prior to the hearings. So we've had about 3 hearings so far, and usually they're a whole day thing, but with the stipulations and withdrawing, it just becomes a half-day hearing. What is the next steps? Continue to offer excellent customer service to citizens when assisting with petition completion, and to continue monitoring non-compliant appeals to identify recurring issues or patterns and address them proactively.
Herbie, how long do citizens have to appeal?
30 days. There's usually a deadline on the little packet that they received. Yeah, 30 days on the.
And then they can schedule the appeal within that 30-day time period?
or like they can come to our office and appeal within those 30 days, but sometimes, usually people are a little bit late with submitting their appeals, and we try to give them a little bit of leeway on that, but yeah.
I know we've really turned this around when we took this on, or when Purvey took it on, however that was. We had some, we weren't compliant in some of the stuff we did, and I know you've done a really good job of putting us back where we need to be, so we appreciate that.
Anything else?
Now we will move to Bailey. What? Okay.
I guess I gotta go.
I did have something real quick, Kelly. The rollout on all those changes that you're talking about, it's already been rolled out and implemented?
Are you talking about the Board of Equalization or the
Oh,
different?
the commissioner stuff.
The
changes.
commissioner stuff, the only thing we have not rolled out is the personnel requests. So that one's, we're waiting for the Laserfish form.
Okay, Bailey Silva, Public Records. I was just gonna give you guys a 2025 overview. So for the county side, we received 560 public records requests, and then the sheriff's office received about 2,500 requests for a total of 3,086. It's difficult to articulate the complexity that exists within a request, because we could get a super simple request or we could get a very complex request. So for example, we've seen an increase in any and all requests. And when we get an any and all request, we have to look in all locations, which can be difficult. And we have to work with all the departments to do that. We've built in deflections to help guide the public to records already available, which takes a lot of back-end work for departments. For example, the health department, I believe in either 2024 or 2025, completed making all of the food inspection reports available online, which previously was something people like to ask for a lot. And now we can just direct them to the website, so they don't even have to go through us, and they can just go search it themselves, which I like to believe the public would prefer to do, because they can have access quicker that way. And then with our new system, we were able to build in not only the deflections for the records already available, but also explain when exemptions might exist. And I use the example for jail records and autopsy records. An example there is, someone else asks for access to another individual's autopsy record. There's only certain circumstances where someone can have access to an autopsy record. So if they're told that before they even submit the request, they might not submit it, because they're essentially not going to get it unless they fall within one of those buckets. Another thing that we did was we built dynamic fields into the system to help us be able to better search for records. A requester is not required to fill them out, but a decent amount have started to. So for example, like a search time frame, if you can tell us the time frame you want us to search for records, it's helpful, because we're not searching, however long the county's existed at that point. We're just searching the last 12 months, for example. You can go to the next slide. 2025 recap. We updated the public records policy. We transitioned the system we use, which was just a massive undertaking. There's still things that I'm working with IT on with the GovQA aspect. We implemented a Microsoft Teams chat pilot. So there's about 25 of us. It's primarily the entire IT department. This way I was able to work with IT to develop internal processes for pulling records out of the Microsoft process before the entire county is using it on a daily basis. So it's a smaller set of records to go through. Another purpose of this was because the county policy is pretty specific in its use of Microsoft Teams, that I also would like that training to be designed for the employees in each department who are tasked with monitoring employees' appropriate use of that tool before we deploy it countywide. Another big thing was just continued conversations around AI and its impacts. Continuing conversations on retention compliance, and then also we implemented the exiting employee checklist, which I think has enhanced offboarding practices for records. Just recently, IT and I have had significant conversations regarding email addresses. Previously, it was not practice to change email addresses when someone's in one department and then moves to another department, and that can create significant records issues on our end when we're searching for things and they're no longer in the assessor's office. They're now an employee of the jail, for example, or juvenile. Just different records exist in those departments. And then just on my end, continuing to educate people on the importance of not only the Public Records Act, but maintaining records for the appropriate amount of time and also destroying them when we can. On the right are my success stories. HR destroyed a ton of boxes this year, which was a win. Go to the next slide. Looking forward, the jail is getting rid of 130 boxes. There's like 45 in that picture. Dave Funzeland and I have worked hard to figure out all the DAN numbers on all those boxes. It's taken up a lot of time, and it feels accomplishing to finally get rid of all of those here shortly. Another big thing is social media. The county has a social media archiver. A lot of departments use social media to, communicate to the public. For example, the sheriff's office or Department of Emergency Management are the two big ones, and working to apply retention rules in our system, so we're not keeping every single thing forever. Another big thing is deploying Microsoft Teams to all county users. I think that's more of a in IT's court, but I've obviously been involved in a lot of those conversations, and we've done a lot of back end work to get that done. So just waiting for updates on that. And then continue conversations around AI, email cleanup. And then another big one for us in public records is the AG's office is likely to update model rules for the Public Records Act. So we're just waiting to hear what that will be. And that is all I have.
Explain to me the email thing again. You said when
The-
somebody goes to like
Oh,
from
yes.
assessor to,
So like, for example, it becomes a bigger issue when you go from like court records to public records. So like if you were a district court employee who is not subject to the Public Records Act, gets an email assigned to them when they become a county employee, and then they decide they want to go work for the commissioner's office, and they move to the BOCC office with that same email. On the back end, when we're searching for records, it's based on an employee's email address. So those records
so
are
different department, everything's not cowlitzcounty.gov.
the domain is all cowlitzwa.gov. It'd be the first portion of the person's email. So it'd be like the Silva Bailey.
Oh,
That's what would need to change. And Sean just had the pleasure of experiencing that. He was very happy. But it just, creates a lot of searching issues.
What role does AI play in that kind of stuff? If any?
In searching for records,
Can it help
currently
us with
none.
that?
What?
Can it help us with that?
I mean, I'd have to look into it. I mean, we'd probably have to buy a tool, and there'd still be, in my opinion, some sort of human verification process that would need to take place with implementing that sort of thing.
so I'm still confused on the email. So the first part of the email, like what I have for Commissioner Dollar, that tells the system that I'm in the commissioner's office?
So the way that the Barracuda reviewers are built on the back end for searching for all communication records are based upon your entire email address.
So somewhere when we set up the email address, we designate where that person is. It has,
we don't necessarily designate the email for where it is, but we put that email into a bucket that exists solely for that department.
wow.
It's complicated.
Well, it's not only complicated, but it seems
It's-
antiquated.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I mean, it's
We've-
just, it's almost to the point of nonsense.
We've had to, I mean, I've had to work with IT and question things all the time, like, why are we doing it this way? Or how can we do it differently? Or how can this be easier? And
Well, that was my
it's
question
never a
about
simple
AI.
question or answer, yeah.
If AI can help us with that search model.
It's a good question.
So if you was having to search for all communications between a person and some subject matter, and that person previously worked in a completely different department, you don't have to search those prior department times, or is it based on time, or if it's based on department?
I mean, the way the search would be conducted would all be based upon the wording of the request. So it's hard for, you mean just like all communication between Steve Farrell and an employee? In the back of my mind, I would have to know what departments that employee has existed in so that I know to search those departments. And that's where it gets complicated and a lot to expect of someone to have the historical knowledge of where people moved from department to department.
Okay. Yeah, that's just. It's crazy. Okay.
Right, that's all we have, unless you guys have any questions.
Thanks.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Savannah Clement, and I am with Alyssa Dunn. We are going to talk about parks. So parks was slated to give an update last week, and we pushed it to this week. Alyssa was unexpectedly out, and I did not want to steal her glory in talking about parks. So we're here today, and I'll go ahead and give it up to her.
Hello. So this is the year that we've been waiting a couple years for. It's our big grant project is going to start. So we're talking the big legacy play area, the new playground, the pump track, and everything that comes with it, the little paths and trails and benches. So we're breaking it down into 2 years, and this year it will be all of the permitting, and then the pump track will get done hopefully by the end of this summer. And then we will start the planning for the playground for the following year, but we're going to start this fall. And just a reminder, the playground is going to be voted on by all the kids in the local elementary schools. So the county level, we're going to choose 2 options, and then it goes to the schools and they vote on it to see which one that they want. So the kids actually get a say in it this year. That's kind of exciting. We've never done this before. Something to think about this year is RCO is opening up grants. And the grant process, just to remind everybody, it takes about 2 to 3 years before you even know if you got the grant. So this is something that we should think about doing this year. That would be done in 2 and 3 years. So that might be something I come back to you with.
Is there anything in the comprehensive plan that you guys, the park board, has ideas on that they might want to throw out, or too early?
It's too early yet.
Okay.
We're still focused on the one that we're trying to do, but.
And just for a refresher, the Legacy Park project is funded partially by RCO, and then also rural development funds that we applied for last summer-ish, spring, summer. So that's how it's being funded currently. And the phase that we're in is we're doing the cultural resource study. So anytime anytime we dig in the ground, we have to make sure we have an assessment done. We've done it at LT1 for the gun range as well, and any parks. Anytime we have to build anything or dig in the ground, we have to have a cultural resource study done. So we're in that part of the project right now.
Yeah, we got 60 feet of dredge spoils, but they want to make sure there's no artifacts in it. And that always made sense. When you,
Log truck.
yeah, it could be a log truck. I said, well, maybe Harry Truman's in there somewhere. Who knows? When you talk about these upcoming grants, are you looking at projects? I know you've talked about like a bridge out at
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's.
park, those type of things. Is that what you're looking for?
Stuff like that. So with RCO, they have different categories. So they have like a boating category, or they have just a local parks category. So it all depends on what kind of project you want to do and if it's open this year.
I got you. So do we own that whole area out there across from Casey Road? I mean, because people go down and launch in there. Is that part of us, or are we just that one corner over there?
So we own, I'm not sure how to describe it. It's a sliver, I guess you could say, right along the road, right along West Side, and all the way down to the river bank. And then the little island, I was told, is not ours.
DNR, I think when we researched it last, DNR owns the island portion.
So what are you thinking? I was just using that as an example. You don't have to.
Well,
Had to
I
be
smile because we
somewhere
were
there.
just talking about that before the meeting started, Hog Island specifically, and how cool it would be to fishing pier. And I mean, the ideas are there, and an actual kayak, small boat launch, what's there right now. I mean, improving
you're-
that.
I know a guy, he's always bugging me about kayak launch
Mhm.
stuff.
I mean, Hog Island's it's a beautiful piece of property as long as we, commit to doing something. I think we can make it even better.
Mhm.
So that's just one example. We've always talked about biking trails, more horse trails, and that's something that is possibly opening up this year. There's a webinar with RCO in a couple weeks, and that's to actually go over the changes that they have made for this grant cycle. So I'll know a little bit more after that.
Like, say up on the dike in Lexington, paving that or something of that.
I
that
would
fall
love
under
to
this
see that
type of-
happen.
But does that fall under this kind of stuff?
That's something we actually discussed a couple months ago, possibly using paths and trail money for that, because it does unburden the roadway if we connect it all the way. And, we have a lot of people that walk up there every day, and it's not a whole lot of fun to walk in the gravel that's up there. So I think paving it, great project. But that's something that we could supplement and get some grant dollars for probably.
Okay.
That's kind of all I have.
Yeah.
And just, we can still keep it short, but operationally, you're kind of getting into when things start growing, getting the parks ready for spring, summer. Harry Gardner Park's open, year round, but our reservations are higher in the summer, obviously. And then also we open up our picnic table reservations and pavilion reservations at Riverside Park. So that'll all be getting kicked off here soon. And a lot of that we couldn't do without our summer help program. So we will be coming to the board probably in the next couple of weeks to talk about that as well. So just a little segue.
You've probably told me this before, Alyssa, but Harry Gardner, we have camp hosts. up in
Yes,
there?
we actually just had our new camp post move in yesterday.
Okay.
So they're just getting started, and it's great for us. It makes it much easier. We have somebody that's there. Vandalism doesn't happen as much if somebody's living on site. Plus it helps with people checking in who have never been to Tootle before. They can answer questions, anything like that. So I'm really grateful that we have who we have. They have experience. They worked at Sequest. They've been park hosts all over for the last couple of years. So I'm excited.
Good.
Kind of off topic, but similar with our parks up in Cougar. Do we have the one park where we have the bathrooms?
Go ahead. You want me to? Okay. So we actually, the Cougar Park that we operate does not have bathrooms. The bathrooms that we are currently maintaining are actually Pacific Corps owned. And tourism dollars are paying to clean those bathrooms, or hoping to pay to clean those bathrooms, because it is a tourist spot. It's the only restroom, I think, in the area. And a couple of years ago, the commissioners at that time kind of made a commitment to continue that. And then not too long ago, this board also made that commitment. So that bathroom is actually not a Cowlitz County Park restroom.
You may not know this, but was it Pacific Corps as part of their contract, an agreement with those bathrooms that they would maintain those bathrooms and take care of
Was
them?
I- Sean, was I
originally?
just talking to you? You're smiling. Yep. Do you want to talk about that? I don't have enough information. I could be dangerous if I start talking about it because I really haven't read their commitment, but that is something that I recently heard about. And just a little high-level backstory is they had an agreement with Port of Woodland that they were doing it, and then Port of Woodland said no more, and that's when they came to the county. And so somehow they've just been engaging in agreements with kind of local entities to help maintain this and keep it going. What their level of commitment, is or should be.
I think, didn't they actually just shut them down when Port of Woodland do? And
Yes,
people
they
were
can.
asking us
That
if we
too.
would do something about it?
Yes, yeah. It wasn't so much, I think, Pacific Corps coming to the board. If I said that, I didn't mean it in that way. It was that somebody needed to do it and it was a public need. And I think the board committed to doing that.
Well, the reason I'm asking is it was brought up to me that it was part of the original contract and agreement, the Pacific Corps would maintain those bathrooms, and they've been pawning that off, from what I understand.
That's what
to
I
different
heard.
entities.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
But that's something that definitely is worth researching. Can I sign Sean up for that? I don't know.
Alyssa, maybe we get a camp host up there.
Yeah. I tried. Did you try personally, or did you try to get one?
What about live up there, next to that bathroom? But could always work.
All right. Any other questions on parks?
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Alyssa. So I'll call Susan up.
So good afternoon, Susan Gutierrez, County Engineer. Wanted to give you guys a quick update on where we are in Barnes. We are out there paving today. Tomorrow we will be doing shoulder rock and some temporary striping. And so we hope to have the road open before the end of the week.
So you are able to get it paved.
Yes, this
Very
weather is
cool.
cooperating and we're out there paving today.
Cool, nice.
That was the only roads item update. Do you have any other questions about public works or roads items before we move into maintenance? Okay. Great. And I just realized I did not give you guys an agenda. So this is all a surprise. I'll go into maintenance. And so last week I had told the board I would give a custodial costs update, and we had a meeting that went really long. So I did save it till today. It's rough costs on labor only. We have not had all the material and supply costs come in yet with invoices and payouts. So I hope to bring that to you here in the next few weeks. What we're looking at, and this is just for our temporary help through employers overload, is about $8,200 a month in labor. And so that's representative of 2 employees at 40 hours a week. We did not add more than that. We had kind of tossed the idea around and asked the board. The board did approve maybe another half time. This was months ago. We've kind of established that we don't think we'll need that. We think we're okay with the 2 full-time folks. Things seem to be going well and kind of leveling out as far as that initial rush and hard work that everybody was kind of putting in to try to get everything going. We still have some things that I think we need to be, need to clean up, so to speak, and that's a lot of our inventory and supplies. So we're getting all of that sorted out. But I did want to let you guys know the costs. And so I did make the request months ago to get a commitment of at least the first 3 months of the year, so we'd have an idea. And so for the first quarter, we're looking at about $25,000 in labor costs. And so that's what we'll be. I know the board plans to work with Sean and give direction continuing through April. So I just wanted to make sure you guys had that information. So if we did it just say for a year, it would still be about 130,000 savings just from our prior contract. So there's that. All right. Any questions on custodial? Okay. Yep. HOJ HVAC. So, we're still working in the PA's office and we're still demoing down there and starting to get things going. We're also on the second floor in the back hallway. And for the facilities team, and I hope to say IT team as well, we have a little bit of a catch our breath time right now, a few weeks. Come March, we'll be doing it all over again. We'll be hopefully moving the PA's office back into their space. Yay for those here. And then we'll be moving records and some other people out of their space, but it's our last zone starting in March. So that'll be our last large phase of construction for that area. And we're still looking to be on time in end of April, beginning of May. So great news. We also met with, Kelly was on that call today, Anthony, our project manager. We hope to still have some project cost savings. We're on track too. So as soon as I know more about that, I'll of course bring it to the board and let you guys know. Any questions on the HOJ HVAC? Okay. The last item I have is the board a few weeks back had asked Mike Moss, director, and our team to come up with kind of a listing of county facilities, square footage, departments, locations. Mike has been unexpectedly out the last 2 days and he had been working on that. And so I wanted to make sure I mentioned it so you knew we were working on it. He wanted to be here, so we hope to come back when all board members are present. I think next Tuesday, you guys have a pretty heavy meeting. The following Tuesday, maybe not the whole board isn't here. So we will be bringing that to you. I did think since I'm bringing it up, if you guys had additional direction to provide, if there's certain information that you're looking for with our presentation, just to let us know. And you don't have to do it right now, but maybe just Kelly can let us know or shoot us an email if there's some specifics you're looking for. And that was all I have. Do you guys have anything else for us?
I'm good.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Wants to, Sheriff, you want to run this or Jason, probably a combination, huh? Hmm.
Good afternoon, Jason Lorraine with prosecutors.
And I'm Sheriff Brad Thurman.
And we are both here to further discuss potential contract with Humane Society, and we suggest that we have an executive session.
Okay. Or I would say contract negotiation.
Correct.
Jason, you have any timeframe?
Let's start with 15. If we need to have Ms. Grayson step back out and
Okay.
add additional 15, we'll do so.
Okay. We will go into executive session.
The board is extending the executive session for a period of 15 minutes until 2:45 PM. Board is extending the executive session for a period of 5 minutes until 2:50 PM.
Okay, back from executive session. No actions taken. I think we just go from here.
Well, thank you for your time.
No, we appreciate your time coming over and working with us on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Anything else, gentlemen?
So I'm good.
Oh, I do have one thing and I forgot. Doesn't pertain here. Remember at the time we were talking about possibly having, doing an RFP and finding a firm that may want to do audits for us?
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to make sure before we start an RFP process that we're still okay with that? Is to looking for somebody that would do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I forgot to have that on my. All right. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.